For the pre-game show, pre-art show. Let's see if we're getting some audio in here. Snap, crackle, pop. Okay, good to go. Welcome, pre-game show. This part might get deleted anyways, but I'm just listening to some motivational stuff and getting things together. There you go. Like sharpening of pencils. Wait, it's July 7th, isn't it? here. It's really hot in the studio today, like 26 degrees, so I'm flying the flag. Originally, okay, this beautiful photo taken by Jeff was sent to me. I've covered it up, and I apologize because Photoshop picked that weird brown color. I'll do it better next time. Upon looking at this and seeing that beautiful, cool light that comes in from my windows in the studio, and then the pink and reddish hair, I'm thinking I'm going to use pan pastel later. Originally I was going to do the drawing on the newsprint, but I just bought myself a brand new tan tone pad. So depending on what you decide to do today, this is probably the way I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll get the pencil crayons out later. I don't know what the plan is. There's one plan, and that is this company's not supporting me, but it's the last beer I have in my fridge. Lemon and lime, Florida Weiss. So get your drink, get your pencils, and let me set up because I got 23 minutes set on the timer. We're going to get going quick. Long pose. Oh, that's sour. Oh, delish. I've smudged the place, and now I'll tilt it down. So you guys at home, it's about to get real rocky. Actually, when I do this part, I should have something else set up. Anyways, you can see I've got my picture in the middle, and I will be putting it up on the screen for you guys. You didn't miss much, Etsy bats, except for a guy sharpening some pencils. So let me just tilt down, and we'll get this show on the road. I'll do that picture-in-picture thing. It'll just take me a second to get myself set up here. Okay, so main screen, picture-in-picture, shaboinga. That's what we're drawing. Wait, I don't know if you guys can see that yet. I just got to move myself or the camera a little bit to the side. Hopefully that's big enough on your screen. And of course, you guys are seeing that straight up and down. Unfortunately, I have to shoot down, so you're going to see me drawing at a slight angle. But we'll do a comparison later, side by each. So no misbehaving on the chat, guys. I have a ruler here, and I'm not afraid to use it. Be good. Help the YouTube algorithm. All right, we'll see how that goes. So I think today I'll draw in charcoal on the Tantone paper because it wipes off that paper nice, but whatever you have is good. Man, this paper is still alive. Oh, that's from last week. Okay, let's not have that here. Seriously, it's so hot in here. I thought a sandstone building would be cool. It's like 26 degrees. I think the chiller is not working at C-Space. I'm dripping in sweat right now, and I might have to take some clothes off. You guys will not be getting a show. I mean, I had to blank out nipples, so. Oh wait, ipple-nays. Gotta be careful. This algorithm, man, you can't even use like medical terminology on here. So, I will, I'm just going to move my screens here so I can see what's going on. So in looking at this, I don't know where you are, take a few head measurements and see what is the total length of, I don't like how that's distorting. What's the total head length of the full piece? I like to start my drawings down about an inch, sorry for being metric, 2.5 centimeters or so from the top. So I always start at the top. See how this goes. Charcoal, hopefully it shows up enough for you guys. Charcoal is, I would say, my second favorite of all the art materials. The first being oil paint, the second being charcoal. Charcoal is the best way to learn to paint. It behaves the most like paint. Sip break. And it's so inexpensive. It's just burnt wood. If you don't know about charcoal, you can go on my personal YouTube, and I compare all the types of charcoal I own. I got a big chart here in the studio. So this new model, hopefully we'll get her in the studio here. Darian, maybe Darian's watching. We invited her. And you can see this is the studio. I love the use of the studio. I don't have a way of showing you guys how I'm thinking with this picture beside me here. But if you imagine dropping a plumb line down from her left eye, it will cross through the side of her mouth. It will hit the collarbone and continue to travel down through the épaulet and down through, I don't know, around the flesh between the pinky. Keep going down to the shadow on the inside of the lower leg. So I like my plumb line. It's not necessarily the center of her body, although I take a measurement and it's fairly close. Your plumb line does not always have to be the center of the body, but often it's great to go from the eye, the neck pit, the side of the breast. There's lots of ways you guys can look at this vertical. We're going to use just head measurements. Now, when you take a head measurement, let's see if I can line this up. See her head. Oh, this is weird. Her head measurement. This is hard. Okay. Her head measurement. You're not going to count the top part of the hair. Hair sits on top of the skull. So you're going to want to go a little bit down, just in between the brow line and the top of her head. That's going to be where you take your head measurement. And that head measurement, if it's vertical, should also equal the same width horizontally. Although she's got lots of lovely hair here. That's the unit of measure I'm going to use in this particular exercise. And I'm just going to sit and take a quick measure from where I'm seated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to where her foot folds. Okay? And then I'm going to check the side, how wide. Oh, if you count that foot. 1, 2, 3, 4 wide. So she's 5 heads tall plus a foot and 4 heads wide. So, I mean, I've got a good alignment of my paper here. So before you even begin, I want you always, even in these life drawing things, people tend to jump in. If you're doing gestural work, jump in. But if you're doing a long pose and you're using nice, expensive paper, you want to analyze what you're going to do before you begin. And it doesn't hurt to sit and look. When I was teaching at AU Arts, people didn't look long enough. So I know my measurement. To add a little space for the foot, I'm not going to go to the very bottom, but I'm going to figure out where is the halfway of this. That will help me separate it into 5, and I'll just take some measures. We like to be somewhat accurate in the beginning. I'm looking up. You tend to be looking up here at the studio. So you have to be aware of that perspective that kind of drifts away. So I'm going to start my timer now. Enough of the explanation of what I'm thinking, just to help those of you who are here to learn and not just here to watch a guy draw for 2.5 hours. So I need to separate it into fifths. One, two, oh. Haha, habit. Okay, figure out those 5 heads. 5 is a terrible number to be dividing. But that's what it is. I prefer even spacings, but there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that little bit for the foot. I'm just going to make them a little bit bigger. If I was using a gestural method, like I did in the last half of the last one, oh yeah, we didn't have one last week due to some technical issues. And instead, I worked on a commission I have with a company in the United States. which really screwed me up this month with my rent, because it turns out, because of the beer bug, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus a little bit. Okay. My rent got returned because it takes 3 to 4 weeks to cash a US check. So I'm very unhappy about what is out of my control. I called the bank, a non-sufficient fund, but I'm sure it's going to be okay. Very annoying. That's my head unit, so I'm just going to find out centrally where I should place her. Yeah, let's just take our time here. Weird. Second, what is that? Oh, third singers. Okay, can't be playing that. You know, copyright. There we go. 11 hours of songboard should do us all right. Our friend Etsy Bat School asks, how do your fingers resist the smudges of the charcoal? You know what? I don't think they do. I smudge if I don't want to remove material that the eraser can. Like it's a lighter stage, because the eraser will take this charcoal right off, which is nice. And I'm not sure actually, I can't tell actually what I'm using here. I know it's General's brand, but it could be hard, it could be 4B. 2B is my favorite. 2B is my favorite in graphite. You know what, actually, I said earlier that my favorite material is oil paint and then charcoal. I think graphite might be my favorite just because of all the years of drawing. You know, in school, doodling along the edges of my paper. Okay, so she is not centered. So I want to be sure that my plumb line is not centered. So I'm going to pull it down the side here. Now normally I wouldn't bother drawing that. I don't even know if you guys can see that with how bright it is in here. But, let's see if I can adjust the contrast on my camera a little bit. Because I don't think you guys can see what I'm drawing. Turn the aperture down. Aperture. You guys might see. Okay, that's a little bit darker. Maybe see the contrast a little bit more. I'm not seeing an effect here, so well, we'll just get drawn. So I'm going to start with my head shape. So I always draw a cranial mass. That tends to go to, let's say, the top lip or where the denture ring is. So the head is 5 units tall. So the circles need to be a little bit bigger. This is where it comes in handy practicing drawing spheres. I haven't drawn on paper in a week, maybe a week and a half. Been drawing mostly with a tablet, digitally. I'm doing designs in Illustrator, which is not my favorite way to work because it's shape-based vector drawing. But you know, even if you're a digital artist or an animator, I think you really need to continue to work your hand drawing skills. It'll get you steadier. It'll make you better. Oh, you guys don't see the reference. Just let me try this again. Okay, wait. Sorry, guys. I think I figured it out. I don't see what YouTube sees. I've got a lot of screens, but here it comes. I will go back and talk about it. It's on my screen. I don't know why you guys don't see it. There's a 20-second delay as well. Can't wait to learn more. Yeah, GG, Greg. Thanks for coming by, buddy. You guys might remember we drew Greg. He's the Pikachu on the chat there. Okay. You didn't miss anything by not seeing the model. Fear not. All I got is a circle and a plumb line, and that's why the chat is good. Depending on where you choose your plumb line to be, you need to determine the center line of the head. So is her chin to the left or the right? Now I'm picking, actually I could move this line over. I'm going to pick her left eye as where my plum is dropping from. You could choose so many options. That's what I'm choosing. That's about center of the whole piece. That's why I'm choosing there. But if you picked the right eye, which would go through the right side of her mouth, down where the fold of the B rest is, down through the fold of the calf onto the leg, that would be fine too. Just look for 3 points of contact because you're gonna lose where you are. So I'm gonna pull the center line of her head at a diagonal because she's slightly tilting her head, thus making it a little bit more difficult. But her chin is to the right of my head size. Okay, so this is using a little bit of Loomis. You know, there's a bunch of ways of looking at this, and perpendicular to that tilt and halfway through the sphere, it's a sphere, not a circle actually, is where the brow line is. And don't get this mixed up with your eye line, which is lower, the brow line. And so if I was to, I'm going to drop her chin a little bit lower. If I was to section that in half and half again, there would be 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units to the chin. Her face is more short than and wide looking than it is tall. We learn these proportions and no one fits them. Not one single person. No one is perfect, maybe an alien. We have to know the difference in how we use our base model, and not her being the model, but our base model, and we have to alter it based off what we see, right? There is no perfect middle person, man or woman. It's just a model, and we go from there. In fact, that's what you use to do beautification. My intention is to actually make her front legs a little bit longer to give more of a drawn illusion of foreshortening to this drawing. Now, I can't see her ear, but I can see her jawline. So I draw the side of the sphere. So you kind of would have, it would look like that. It has a flat edge on it. You can take one of my portrait classes if you want to learn all of these things more in depth. We will be opening again this fall. So I met with one of our teachers, Luke, yesterday. It's very exciting that everyone wants to come back. I think it's going to be crazy here. This part of the ball would get sliced off too, which makes that indent where the eye is down here. Okay, anyways, we're almost done with our head shape. The jaw just comes down. You just go rough right now and up. And just try to match the angles that you see in her face. For now, there's kind of like this mask shape that goes on. It kind of comes down where the cheek is. Anyways, we'll go halfway from the top of the head down, and that's our eye line. Okay, enough for the head construction. Let's move down and get the neck in. And we'll just, this is now drawing kind of in the Riley method. We'll do some construction. I can't see where her neck is, but I know that the neck starts at where the mandible attaches where the ear is, this part right here, and it comes down at an angle. Our neck is wider at the top and gets more and more tapered as it comes down the collarbone. But what I'm searching for is the neck pit, which is about here, I think. This is the one measurement where it's like, well, it's 1/4 of the head down, and if you measure, her Ippelnay is exactly on that line, directly below her eye, 1 head length. That's not always true. It depends how much fat and gravity and how one's pushing out their chest. Hey, Jeffrey's here. Round of applause. Thank you for this beautiful photo. I'm doing a very academic breakdown of this, Jeff. I know that you're working on your own stuff, so don't draw this because I don't want you to make the rest of us look bad. And also drinking the last Blind Man beer in my fridge. It's so hot in the studio. 26 degrees in here. Okay, so there's the shoulder girdle, and in her case, you know, there's an angle that you can shoot out from her shoulder or from her head. You know, it's kind of like a triangle shape, like this. Maybe even a little bit more at an angle. I hope that while I'm talking, my little creatives, that you get a sense of the thought process, what's going through my mind as I do this. You know, I think one of the great things about this atelier, we all have different routes to getting to a place, but it's really revealing to have an idea of what someone is thinking. So I'm just taking diagonals down to find the shoulders, just by holding my pencil in front of me like you see here, looking at the model. And then pulling that line down. Because we need to get the shoulder girdle in, I'm going to also measure it to see how many heads in length it is. 1 to the neck pit. Wow, it's almost a traditional head length. Okay, interesting. That, oh yeah, it's not to this side though. Give her a little bit more shoulder length. So men tend to be 1 head length from, I mean, I'm personally not. It's for really built guys. 1 head length to the outside of the deltoid. Females, wider hips, skinnier shoulders, right? Okay, and then we go a little bit down the arm. So now I'm going to borrow a little bit. Let me just check this once more. So this is slow and methodical. We're doing long pose for once. Maybe with some coloring. If I draw a line horizontal from the chin, I can imagine where the shoulder is going to, like how big of a space, negative space, so I need to drop it down. That'll elongate her neck a little bit in proportion. So it's like constructing. I'd like to give another shout out actually, not just to Jeff. I ordered this book. It was $145, and I'm reading it, I'm studying it. I saw it on King Jungus's Instagram. He had linked through to Super Annie. Super Annie sells the book out of the States, but you can't buy this book from the States. They won't ship up to Canada. So Labyrinth Books out of Toronto is selling it, and it's one of the best books I've ever seen on anatomy. And this guy spent 7 years making this book, this Korean artist. Anyhow, it's told in comic book form like a story, and you're like a god. And the idea is, how do you design the perfect being? And it compares the locomotion of animals, and it's a really cool way of looking at how do I learn anatomy. So I highly recommend it. I have no affiliation, but okay. The shoulder angle is very important. It tapers down. I gotta drop this shoulder a little bit. And that fold of the deltoid, as it's starting to taper in, if I bring it across parallel to the shoulder line, I get the intersection of the pectoral major right there. And that will allow me to see where I'm going across with my shape. And here's why. Because once we have that top pyramid built of our figure, well, it's quite loose on mine, we're able to use some of the Riley rhythms, which I want to use because I'm still studying them. And this is the way that I was taught. So you just kind of go down. I want to take another measure from the head. Another one, just so I can have a marking, is straight down from the shoulder is the bottom of the arm. That's sticking out to the right. Maybe it's a little too soon for that. This is a puzzle. It would be about there. Because I could start sticking that knee in, just to find my nice far point. Might go a little bit lower. There we go. Don't be afraid to erase. It's legal. I'm trying to find the hip next. The hip is one head unit out from my center line, somewhere around there. It's in more close to the right than, I'll just tilt this up for you guys, than the line from the head to the shoulder. So using those diagonals we call triangulation. You don't measure off those. You only measure on your vertical and horizontal, but you can check angles by holding them up. And then just using like plumb lines like an invisible grid. So I'm moving slow because I'm talking lots. This kind of has like, I've tilted it a little more like the Mona Lisa. Put where the hair shape is going to be. That's where the pencil crayons are going to come in handy. I hope our model here gets to check this out. Could be so technically boring, but if you were in the class, you would have to listen to this as well. Okay. So in the Riley method, I would connect this shape up to the back of the neck for the hips. I can't see the hip on this side. It's somewhere down here. There's a little bit of it peeking out, if you look. And then there'd be front from the shoulders down to groin. Can't see that either. So I'm going to go with that big leg shape. And judging where I have it from, it's one head unit. And this leg is one head unit, yeah, from my center line, my plumb. So far, I think this is working out just fine. There is the B rest setting right there, but there's a lost edge there really. So I'm looking at something that just tapers in, like what's the full angle of the arm. Might accentuate it a little bit. I got 2 minutes here till my break. Normally I would have the whole A-in done, but we're just solving our puzzle right now. Let's just go through it slowly. Because I plan on coloring this thing, I just want to take my time. Be methodical. It's meditative. It's out of focus, Jeff. Thank you. Let's see. I think I'm just at an odd angle, but I'll fix this at the break. It says it's focused. I'm at, there we go. There, you guys can probably see my focus ring right now. It kind of gets a little distorted because the camera is shooting over here in the middle and is off-centered a little bit, but we'll see if we can tweak that. Obviously my angle doesn't look as pretty as yours. You get her straight on the left side of your screen. Okay, thanks guys. I love this chat. Gets me distracted, but I'm moving slow. Just gonna check some more measurements before the alarm goes off. Might drop this leg down. A little bit further. Just gotta get a little bit more space there. It's nearly horizontal, but it does tilt up. And check yourself, because sometimes, oh, that leg's coming towards me. You'll overcompensate this degree. It's a trick of the brain. The brain is awfully tricky sometimes. But I'll probably do a comparison. Side by screen comparison after. Whoa, hey, sorry, let me erase. I need a break. I'm taking my shirt off. It's way too hot in here. So enjoy a 7-minute countdown, and then we'll get back to it. All right, are we even doing the countdown? Haha. All right. Oh, you guys know that sound, I hope. I want to train it into your mind because when we do the live stuff here, that's the sound. Actually, Etsy Bats, I hope you're paying attention here because during the break, you should wash your hands if you can. You asked about the charcoal being on my hands. I went pee like a gentleman. There's a few reasons. I drank that entire beer already. But I always keep in my back pocket a hanky. And my hankies are made out of, like I wear really crazy pattern shirts all the time. And when the collar wears out, which it does, I cut the shirts up and I just make these, hankies or whatever, there's holes in them even. And so you always want to be wiping your hand clean if you're dealing with charcoal, because you're going to smudge it in. And that's one thing that makes something look unprofessional, but it could also be a cool factor. The other big hint I have is baby wipes. Now, I'm a single man. I had to learn these from parents. Baby wipes are awesome. You can get them at Dollarama or whatever, and they dry out. They don't keep the moisture inside, I find. But I have this hippie friend. She's probably watching right now. She also did make my hair pink. See that? She's fun. She made me this spray Gypsy Soul Spice, or these other, there's, essences in alcohol. And so I spray it in here or on my hands. I mean, we're all using, these hand sanitizers. It'll do the same thing. Just make sure you're dry because as soon as you put your hand back down, even with hand oils, you then turn charcoal with oils or water into an ink. You're in a way making India ink when you wet it. So you want to make sure your hands are dry before you get back into that charcoal. A lot of this is going to be removed when I roll over my kneadable eraser. So, and I hope you guys enjoy those little in-between videos. You could just watch a blank screen and listen to the birds, but I don't think it's as fun. I'm going to tilt up. I did fix the camera position, although I see a weird line in it. That's strange. I don't know where that's coming from. I'm going to tilt this so you can see that I'm not totally out of whack. My drawing is bigger than the picture to the left. We're not in perfect proportion with how far the camera distance is away, but you'll see that it actually looks better than what you're seeing. It's tilted a lot in order for me to draw. But when I'm more straight up and tilt to line up to the camera, it's kind of sucks for me because you get to see this amazing picture on the left by Jeff, and then you see this like weird downward angle. It's not doing me any justice. I don't know if I like this setup, but for you at home or if you're on your screen, this should be wonderful because now you are seeing what's directly in front of me. I was going to make it a little smaller. That's how they do it at some of the other ateliers. But I want to give you guys full view. Another thing, when we get down to those legs, I'm going to start my timer, by the way. they have a beautiful depth of field. So we're gonna have to rely on our anatomical knowledge. And in past drawings you guys seen, I call it in on the feet. They're just shapes, you know? So let's get back to it. I'll try to tilt up a little bit more. Actually, before I do, uncommon cider. I'm going for it. Man, it is too hot in here for me not to drink. And it makes me more talkative, so that might help the whole situation. If you have it at home, Uncommon Cider is here on Saturdays at C-Space at the farmer's market. Right now, all the vendors are saying I'm their best supporter. I am spending far too much money at the market. Last night, I think Luke and I drank 3 or 4 of these beers, not these. Hey, a new Rachel, thank you. I will be doing live model sessions, since you're asking. Currently, we could have live models at the Atelier. It seems to be a little bit of a scramble. The issue for me is my studio. I had to take jobs in order to pay the Marteloop rent that I'm paying. And so my entire studio is full of topographical maps. I might pan later to let you guys see. Until the restrictions were lifted, I was allowed 2.5 people in the studio, which means me, a model, and a dog. So it wasn't feasible. I'm currently trying to figure out how to get this together. We will do some special sessions this summer, I promise, because me and the teachers, we would like to not be rusty when things start up again. So if you're on the Atelier Artista newsletter, you will see it. It will be probably a first come first serve thing because I'm limited on space. Many of you guys watching have multi-passes and you will be able to do that. So you won't even have to spend money. Those of you who have credit are very smart. Oh, that is delicious. So get yourself a drink. My timer's still going. It's okay. We're having fun. Wednesday's my long day. I finished 2 client works today, and that's all businessy talk, but I moved the leg down slightly. I wanted to create a little bit more room for the hand. There we go. Hey, what happened? Yes. Hey Jeff, I apologize again. I'm going blind. I had spelled your name wrong in the social media. It was like millimeters big on my tiny little screen, so my bad. Okay, once we have, let's get the chest area in, and you can see it dropping down. We want to start finding some of these plumbed areas. If I go, if the arm travels down to the hip, just use straight lines or like large curves for now. We just want to start getting in the structure. I'm going to start moving fast because I realize I'm being silly. I can make a diagonal across the Ippelnays, and I use the Pig Latin guys because Utubier is very icky pay about what I say. They've dropped some really, there's actually more live streams on this channel than you can see. They blocked a bunch of the Michelangelo ones because I used the medical term for a PP. And I guess I got to do it like PewDiePie. I've been watching PewDiePie so I can learn all the colloquialisms. I wonder if I can even say gastrocnemius. Anyways, that's the calf, guys. Just a calf muscle. The hair will go down here in a nice, beautiful shape. I'm gonna show where I think the kneecap is. It's a little bit higher up. If I drop a plumb from the shoulder down, the knee is inward more. And I mean, I'm just jumping around. This is not the only way to draw. We all do it different. We all see different. I hope you're drawing along, to be honest. And if you are, tag it, share it, send it to my email. Whatever you want to do, I will take a look at it. I do have students who are sending me stuff, which is nice. To the elbow. So the elbow's got to come in a little bit. You can see that I use my pencil a little bit like a wand sometimes. I actually have it in a holder today to extend the flexibility of it. Hiya. PewDiePie, the greatest YouTube of all time, but he just talks about memes. I don't intend on ever getting that many followers. So here's something to look at. Where I've placed the fold of the gastrocnemius, okay, which is, you know, directly below this jaw, right, that folding in. Okay, let's take a look there. I believe, in my case, that well, it's nearly halfway. So if I take that distance, which I can barely stretch, and check, I go up to the line. And remember, halfway for me didn't include the little foot at the end. So take a measure, look at what's in front of you, and figure out these full picture things. Because when you start going down, what tends to happen is either the feet get too tiny and small, or you are growing as you go. So by having these limitations, it will really help you figure out where you are. So I'm going to use a kind of a gestural line now. I'm cheating. I need to go faster. Where the hip goes straight down is about where the ankle is for my foot. Oh, I'll scrunch up a little bit. I want to get my big shapes in first. The calf crosses through at a diagonal, and there's a shine across her shin, and I'll just hold the pencil at an angle in front of me going through the kneecap, and I'll just bring it down. As long as I don't turn my wrist, I'll have that angle stored essentially, and then I just follow it down. A lot of these tricks I just learned by doing. There wasn't a book, and I went to a school that didn't really teach this stuff. I've learned a lot from the other instructors here. I've taken a few workshops here and there as well. And it's good to have people who've gone before you who can show you little tricks of the trade, you know? Everyone loves the tricks. But the truth is, you really got to put the work in. You know, like, I know where things go. So I'm dropping the buttock. I wonder if I'm allowed to say that. The buttock down. As things moved and drifted. I'm looking pretty good right now. All right, you see? Mine is about 10% bigger than the picture to the left, but you can see structurally I've got the right lean. I might even put that out, the buttock out a little bit further, just to give that gestural angle. I'm actually going to run that angle on the inside of the arm and just check. It goes up between the brows, down the arm, and through the trochanter. So if I draw that in, there's my trochanter. So I'm doing okay. Lots of checks and balances. And even then, like, I haven't really got up the seat except for see a man about a horse. You got to really look with a fresh eye, which I have not done yet. So I usually do that after the lay-in's in, and then I figure out the creative problem-solving part of my drawing process. Through that plumb line, kind of get the fold. There's like a cast shadow that goes across the leg. And that's the lower hip down there. So the lower hip drops. Yeah, I got it in the right place. Well, that's fortunate. If I follow this leg line across, somewhat upward, I kind of get that, where that is. So there we go. You want to get to the point, I think, when you're drawing to feel it. When I was in art school, I was taking a class, and the instructor, who is a well-trained, traditionally trained artist, is teaching in a contemporary art school, and he would say, feel the line, And it drove me crazy because I didn't know what he meant. And now I'm saying it because I'm like, oh, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Which is funny. Feel the line. But now I definitely feel it. Like, does it feel right? Because sometimes we go in with that super analytical start. I'm a Virgo, by the way, so I like the analysis. I'll read 100 books before I start drawing something, try to memorize everything. You know, some of us are umbrella learners. We want to know what's the purpose before we even begin. I don't know if you can see this, the malleolus, if I take this foot line, which is on the inside of this hip, and drop it, I get my ankles right about there. So you can use different ways of determining where you are. And the foot, my plan is working. It was going across from this line. I added space. And just simplify the whole thing for now. It's blurred, but you know what a foot looks like. I'm gonna check the measurable distance across the gastrocnemius, above the soleus, right? There's two muscles. There's the one that wraps around. You can see the indentation. So that tends to be the widest point, the one that's touching the leg. And measure it and check. So this one is much thinner. So I'll measure it and I'll check. So I can actually taper this leg in a little bit tighter. That helps bring that foot up a little bit as well. To the oh, my pencil broke. To the malleolus. And then we'll shoot the foot. There we go. Now we're happier. Another thing to do is measure the length of the foot because it tends to be the length of the head. We have foreshortening, but people tend to draw that close foot too small. Jose is here. I'll put my drawing in your mailbox, Greg. Put my drawing in your mailbox. Wait, you already got my drawing in your mailbox. Okay, so we got a block and some arms. I'm gonna just change out my drawing utensil because the tip of my pencil broke. It happens. That's why you want to have like 5 ready on the go. Directly below the jaw again is where the fingers are going. Whoa, this is a 4B. So it's gonna look a lot darker, which is kind of nice. I didn't know what I was using before. You don't have to know. Just look at what you see. Draw what you see, not what you know. I talk and try to fill in the what you know so that you don't question what you're seeing. Arm could be a little bit wider. I will draw the 3-dimensional shapes on this as well, and then erase them so that it helps you in your construction phase. Okay, this other arm looks like it's coming out of the knee. So at the center of the patella, all this. Squint your eyes, draw that shape. Where do the fingers wind up? The longest finger is right here. Just like a big, big shape for this. Don't get confused with the details yet. I'm going to take a measure off that hand because I believe it's going to be a head length. And it is so. Check on yours. You might not see things the same as me, and I'm jumping around because I've done this 1,000 times. Actually, much more than 1,000 times. 10,000 hours to be a master. I'm gonna bet I'm about halfway there. So don't be hard on yourself if, you know, you're not moving as fast or it doesn't make sense, you get lost in what you're doing, don't worry about it. And in fact, you can go back to these things and watch all the live streams or just listen to them, and maybe you pick something up. Just one thing. I mean, I pay a lot of money to fly to Europe and train at the ateliers, and you know, it's $6,000–7,000. If I walk out of there having learned one little thing, I'm usually pretty happy. And then I bring it back here for you guys. At least that's my plan. My real plan has always been to bring those artists that I train from here. So I'm looking to buy a house so that I can put the artist up, and then I'll give them my car and they can go to Banff, because I think that's a big sales pitch. Come to Canada. Where's that? Vancouver? We have Banff. Come to Banff. You're gonna have a day off and go to Banff. I learned yesterday that Sargent, before he passed, came up to draw Banff. So there's a sales pitch right there. Come to Banff. Okay, I spent a little more time on this hand than I should have, but it's there now. I'll tilt up for you guys. I still got 7 minutes, so let's put some of the rounded forms in here. For example, I like to go around the armpit, around the arm. So this, it's a cylinder, right? Let's over accentuate it, but let's try to draw in so that we can understand how to shade the form. Speaking of which, I wonder if Keith Springal's out there. Keith, are you with us today? Let's channel Keith. Nope. Although there's a 20-second delay with the audio here. Okay. So the cylinder of the arm. What about this arm? It's coming, you can see it. It's coming up and over the forearm, around and down towards the elbow. This is more square. You can see the process of the ulna. So I like to go straight across and straight down. You can pick those things up in a class. Side of the hand, across the leg. Yeah, this charcoal is messy. And the pinky finger is kind of like, I'll draw it almost like a cone coming out towards. In fact, I will make it a cone for now, sticking out towards. We don't want to get caught up in these things just yet, you know? But that's done. Across the pectoralis major, you can see even the tan line on our model. It goes up and over and across the chest. Think like Popeye or something, like barrel-chestedness. And if you put these lines in, it's really going to help you in your shading and toning the large forms. I'm just going to measure her head on the... Okay, so if I measure her head and go from her chin, whew, that can't be right. I'm just trying to find out... Okay, well that's where the shoulder is. It needs to go out a little further. I am surprised by that. Your eyes get fooled all the time. Speaking of PewDiePie, I saw 7 or 8 hours ago what's his real name? Felix? Mr. Felix had memes of optical illusions, and it showed your blind spot and how untrustworthy our sight is. I'm just going to put where I think that is, the thing that I cannot say on this channel. It's an oval. I will pixelate it next time, as Jeff said would work better. We're improving every week this live stream. And then it will be no more, because we'll do it in person. It's not cost effective just yet until I can ensure that I have enough people. Summer is pretty dead around here usually. It's usually kids camps, which you know what? I didn't think we were gonna be open so quick. And I have this big contract in here, so I wasn't really motivated to race to the finish line. I'm sure you guys can understand that. Last time I did, I lost thousands and thousands of dollars giving refunds on money I accepted. You know, the credit card processors are loving it. They get 2.9% of every total transaction, and the same when you return the money. So the business loses 6% plus fees. There are additional fees to having these processors. So not a fun time for a small business person like myself. All right. Another one, so what we're thinking of is connecting things horizontally. We have the long shapes and forms. How do we connect them horizontally? So across the pec, you could connect the shoulders, right? Let's just put in we can see where our center line is. And then the roundness of the arms. Can't see it, traps there. Okay, let's do the same with the legs. Now, the big turn is here anyways. It's a big C shape, which includes the top of the hip up here, which is just under the elbow, across and around. Now, look, it's not one shape. It's the gluteus medius, gluteus maximus, or the other way around, right? You gotta have these flattened areas towards the trochanter. That's my favorite one, the great trochanter. I thought it would be cool to have a band named after all the cool words on the body. And all the songs would be the Latin names for the parts. I also thought, since we're in Alberta, the most badass name for a death metal band would be Frackin' Bitumen. That could just be a swear, too. All right. Squareness. After I get this bit done, I'm going to pause time for a second because I don't really want to go off. I'm just going to get all the shape done. I'll roll over it and lighten it up, and then we'll do the face construction and shadow shapes, I guess. And then we'll break. I'll clean up a little bit and maybe get those pan pastels out. I brought them out. It is long pose, but it's already been an hour. I would already be done this normally if I wasn't talking so much. But hey, I'm here talking for you. Every time I'm not drawing, I think, life is good. I love it. Life is fine. And then when I'm drawing, I'm like, oh, I miss drawing. Should have been doing this the whole time. I need a patron to the arts, so then I can actually get really good at this. They don't watch this channel. Directly below the finger is that fold. We're really bad at judging curves, so I recommend breaking it down into multiple straighter shapes. The gastrocnemius ends higher up. It's pressed against the hamstring there. And then don't draw it straight. And then there's the soleus, right? The soleus goes all the way down to the flat side. Okay. And then the malleolus comes out. I'll draw it like a circle for the purposes of this. And then you can see that bone goes straight up to a bone up here on the outside of the leg. I wish I could have feedback from you guys. It's called the fibula. Okay, so what is the curvature? Well, this is curving up and over from here. So I put my curves sometimes in the middle, but also across the joints because it goes from round to square. The joints are quite square. All of them. Elbows, knees, quite square. We have the tibia tuberosity here. Jeff's lighting is so beautiful and soft. Actually, it makes it a lot harder to draw without understanding, because you kind of have to rely on knowledge of where things actually are. That turn of the vastus medialis, medialis meaning in the middle of the body. And then you can see the outside of the bone right here, which would be under the patella, which is the tibial bone. That shine mark is going across the front of the tibia, what we call the shin. And then the dropping of the medial gastrocnemius. But what's important is showing me that roundness across, right? We're adding some construction lines here. When our eye level is lower, we can actually start saying, well, we see we're starting to see the front tilted down of that. And then here it might be like straight across. Depends where your eye level is. You can still draw it upward like that. It will still work. But I like to think, if there was a sock on this body, what direction would that sock turn around the form? We don't do a lot of clothed model here. Unless it's like a public event like Alberta Culture Days, which I'm planning for already. Because then people from the public can walk in and see what we do here. Okay. Now this leg is tilted toward us. So even though we see the outside of the hip, lights went out in here. This leg, and you can follow the shadow, is turning like this. It's a tube coming directly toward us. When we draw the shadow shape, that's really going to help our illusion of it coming straight towards us, essentially. There's a flat on the top of the leg because there's a lot of tendons attached to the patella. The patella in this case is tiny, by the way. It's doing this. You can kind of see the redness of it, and you can see the side of it because the leg is slightly twisted. And then that lump below it is the side of the tibial bone, and that the light we see is the front of the tibial bone. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be teaching in the fall my Friday class. I think we might just do kind of an open figure drawing session. They're much cheaper for you guys, and then it allows me to get in practice. Speaking of which, I got to turn the lights back on in here. There we go. I'll just dance. You guys having fun out there? What's going on? The more comments you make, I think the better the algorithm works for me. We're almost to the light and shadow part, though, which is really cool. Okay, from the back, we'll shoot the heel bone, the calcaneus, and the side of the foot. Just match the angles. You don't need to do much here. The light and shadows, what's going to convince our viewers. I'm curious to see how close I am as well to the actual proportions. I'll put it up beside the screen here. I like to analyze it. I'm my own worst critic. Most of my friends are very nice to me about what's going on. Okay, we're good. You know what I'm gonna do? I can't not put this shadow in. So this shadow, the cast shadow, describes the form in which it's falling on. And there's a little divot in there because of distance, but also you can draw it as a hard edge. I think I'll keep my shadows fairly dark. I'll probably, they could be brown as well. But I got charcoal right now. Let's really make them pop. So those will become the darkest darks. Same as under the glute here. And we'll put a drop shadow below to give her some gravity so she's not floating stupidly in our picture plane. The cast shadow goes under the leg and it travels up and over, describing that roundness. What? Sorry, I'll shift forward, guys. I'm really excited with color or my white pencil crayon, because I'm on a tan tone paper. Any sort of white could become that cool light that Jeff's captured. From behind her, you can see those windows. So we already have a value of tone here, so we can add white or a bluish color on top of it. I'm not going to draw her in an environment, I don't think. Maybe a little line here. I don't know, it's white. We could even put white down for where she's seated. And it comes down at this angle. I don't want to get too involved sometimes with these backgrounds because he's done a wonderful thing with his magical camera skills in making everything look nice and blurred out. You know, like my studio is chaotic and messy, but it always looks so good in his photos. It's not very distracting. Let's put, you know, you look at the folds around her neck. We can give some roundness to her neck. Although we will be adding the sternocleidomastoid in there. Now, let's see. I'm going to go for the face. Creatives. I'm really making an effort not to say guys as a colloquialism or kids. I got called out for being, what was the term? Infantilizing, although you guys are my kids. Infantilizing to my students one time. And this was, the seniors don't seem to mind. We're women! It's a term of endearment, I swear. Okay, so let's get in some face structure. I'm going to zoom in actually for this. This model, oh, I'm going to have to move the camera when I do this, I just realized. And what is that blue line about? Just a second. That's going to drive me crazy. I don't know what it is. Manual. Wait, does it go black? Okay, I'm going to move the camera. This is a one-man show. Okay, zoom, zoom, zoom. It's not quite straight on. Touch shutter to disable. No, I don't think so. Okay, and to the right. Hey. All right, so I want to erase some stuff out here. Take a little piece of your kneadable eraser. Make sure you leave it on like your soda or, can you guys see that? Something cold, because you want it to be firm. The more you touch these things, the more they turn into bubble gum. And I like to just roll over, lighten the lines, but don't totally get rid of them, because they're our guide. We're gonna just draw the shadow shapes in. I'm not sure your situation, how big are the faces on your screen, but you're welcome to zoom it in. You know what? I can probably zoom it in. I can zoom it in for you guys. Who am I kidding? We have the technology. Oopsies. What's going on here? I just totally put her out of proportion is what I did. What the heck? Okay, I suck at this. Wait till you see what I did. All right, let's see if I can fix this. Come on. Give me back my aspect ratio. What? What? I just zoom it in. This is not going to work. Okay, I tried. I think I had to pre-plan and cut the picture out in order to do what I thought I could do. So, you know, as they say, back to the drawing board. Oh my God. Let's get my drawing board back. I'm making a mess of everything, guys. I mean, creatives. This is hilarious. This is what we're getting right now. How do I get it back? Help me. Wait, okay. Shift select. I don't know if that's correct. Oh my God. The watermark? Nope. We need a director. Oh, there it is. Nope. The blue one. Alright, watermark's back. And fade. Okay. That was pointless. Alright, this is the time where you squint your eyes. I'm going to switch to a harder lead, I think, if I have one that's sharp. Hard charcoal. And I can see where the eyebrows are, so I'm just going to put them in. The eyebrows sit below the eyebrow line, and they kind of cross over. And I'm just going to draw straight ahead. This line that you see intersecting, which is the side plane of the skull, is actually where the kind of fold of her eyebrows turn along the form. So you can see too, my hand is resting like regular writing. This is a small area, so I'm not going to hold it like a brush right now. And I'm still just kind of guessing. Crossing through my line, I'm going to get her glabella coming in. Just give it a little curve. Her nose doesn't cross across my line. Now, from the brow to the chin, halfway is where the nose sits. Halfway. But I'm going to draw a little circle in her case because she's got a cute little round nose. I'm not drawing a clown. Promise. Often I try to draw like an M, and I'll just put in where I think the nostril is. I might even move her eyebrow over slightly to the right. We'll see once we get the other one in. So the other eyebrow is touching my plumb line, which I can still see there. And I don't know what degree that is. 30 degrees? Sure. Why not? And then it starts to turn. Okay. Let's get this drawing. Tilts towards me. It's nice and rounded here. And the chin, I'm just going to draw as a big oval for just to signify it right now. Now, to make something look more feminine, curve the lines. Don't use so much angles. Soften it. Okay. I just want to check again by measuring if from the brow. Just going to move this over slightly. So the brows are the top of the brows are almost in alignment, even though there's an angle here. Look at those perfect eyebrows, my gosh. And so I can also take the angle of her hair going up to where the hairline is. And you see that makes a whole flat plane. This is the plane of the forehead. Now it is slightly turning, but you can see what I'm describing now in terms of the planes. The planes coming from the great and wonderful Mr. John Asaro. He sent me, I feel so fortunate, one of his prototypes. If you've been here, you see the Asaro head. It's because John, a gentleman artist that he is, he saw some of my YouTube videos talking about how great I think his stuff is. And I guess a lot of people, because of those YouTube videos, bought a lot of his products. So I have some influence, I suspect. And so he was generous enough to send me a prototype, which is honestly one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me because of the internet. Okay, so I got my jawline. Now I want to check again, from the brow to the chin halfway. I think the nose, and this is the tip of the nose, needs to come down a little bit. And then how do I get that angle up? And it swoops. All right, it's happening. We're going. If I took a plumb down to the side of the nostril, that would intersect with the tear duct, right? So let's just get the nose in there. The nose from nostril to nostril tends to be, and it needs to travel at that angle, right? Everything got to keep traveling at this angle. It tends to be 1 eye wide. The whole head is 5 eyes wide. And so if I go straight up from this nostril on my plumb line, and I'm still respecting that angle I've established, that will be where my tear duct sits. And guess what? I made a length of nose. That is the length of the eye. So I can find the back edge of the eye. Now the back edge of the eye, we have a tilt here, is always higher than the tear duct. So I'll just put that there. And then I've got that little bit of space beside the side of her face, her cheekbone or her orbital, the zygomats right there. And now I can take that same measurement, go straight up from the nostril, and get her eye in. So I want the eyes to be the same size. Width of the nose. Okay, goes to there. Excellent. We tend to draw the eyes bigger than they actually are. Which might be happening in my case too. 3 planes on the top of the eye, like an awning. So the turning up, just below over the eye flap, and then the tapering back to the lashes. That way you have that 3-dimensionality. Wow, this is it. You know, this live stream is jam-packed, kids. I mean, creatives. Oh my God. Gonna get canceled. And 2 planes for the bottom. The front, it's like in thirds. Back up. I'm not doing shadow shapes here because there's not that much shadow. That's why I think I'm opting for color today. If you're brave, you can put where you think the pupil is. It's usually half the full length, or I like to do it as a third. She's got beautiful dark eyes, so we can put a value in there. Not much of a fold over the lid, and we'll draw the makeup in later. Okay, now from the tip of the nose, I'm going to say that that's almost good enough. From the tip of the nose to the chin, halfway, which often crosses near that full circle, halfway is going to be the bottom of the lip. Now, where is the bottom of the lip? It's to the right of my plumb line. And it kind of, there's my glabella. I'm going to give her a little more space with this eyebrow. Now this is just the way I'm doing it right now. I believe, I saw in a beauty magazine that the angle of the eyebrow, if you're pruning it, is like from the nose tip through the lid, and then you get like that 2/3 line up there. That's where you're supposed to have it turn. One of my students is a beauty professional, and she had shown me a book. But you know, styles change too, right? You guys still out there? Been 27 playbacks, but are you there? I appreciate my friends who just turn it on and don't pay attention to what I'm saying. But I more appreciate those of you who are learning something. Let's check the halfway again. So I need to bring my nose down. Looks a little high. There's like a nice triangle that happens between. but we're also looking up at the face. So you got to contort the rules to fit the face. I like that better. Okay. So we got the bottom of the lip. Now we get to use thirds. From the bottom of the nose to the mouth opening, which happens to fall along the line, and directly below the tip of her nose is the side of the mouth. So we'll draw that shape. I don't know if Miss Darian has an Instagram, but it would be cool. From the middle of the brow through the nostril is the other side of the mouth, which you'll also see falls onto the line of the pupil. If someone's smiling, it's the center of the eyes. Otherwise, it's the left or right side justified. Okay, and try to copy the angle, the nostril, or the angle of the mouth. It's fairly straight in this case. And the top lip, I always draw in shadow. So I'm going to give it some tone. Another one is from where the earlobe is down to the mouth. I like to just put a plane change there. You can see it really directs the face. I know it might look a little cross-eyed right now, but it's not. I think I'll shrink the height of the forehead. The forehead tends to be the same as the forehead or hairline to brow, brow to nose, nose to chin. We can make her lip a little bit bigger at the bottom. The bottom lip is 2/3. The top lip tends to be 1/3. Hers is, they're more close to similar than it looks. Okay. And then another third to the chin fold. And we can see the shadows kind of coming down. We're going to start putting in our shadow shapes. But we've got most of the significant markers of the face now. So let me just erase out some of the extras. And this is a nice hard pencil, so it's gouging the paper. But I'm gonna go back to my regular holding of the drawing pencil and just start following some of the folds of her hair as groupings. Group them together. From the bottom of the neck, goes this way, comes across towards the center line, which we now don't need. Right, there's like a negative space in there. You can draw it that way as well. Hey, Keith is here. Can't wait to draw from life. Absolutely. Because it's hard, right? Let's not forget, it's a very challenging thing. And then it goes to the fingertip. The hair turns. This will get colored in. But I'm just looking at values and simplistic shapes right now. A chromium process down to the shoulder. Okay. Bring the hair in. And then if I look at her face and I kind of like go up from the nose, that's the angle back of the part in her hair. So that's kind of where this hair is falling. 7:30, so I gotta get moving here. I feel like figure and life drawing is a lot about time management more than you know. Hence we have this timer. I'm kind of ignoring it right now, but we're training. What can we do? First you get good, then you get fast. That's what my stepdad always said. And we're going slow, we're studying. It's okay. Maybe you only get enough time sometimes to like draw a hand. We're gonna tilt her hairline in a little bit more. There's also a shadow happening there. Her hair looks kind of pink, not as strong as mine does. Okay, so I'd say, I mean, you guys aren't exactly on the tilt, but that's enough. But let's go down to the neck. And same as with females, wait, let me just, you want to have them not convex this way, but concave. It looks more feminine, even though that's not exactly what you're seeing. It works better for drawing. Smooth out, round out the shoulders. Hello? Who's there? Hello? Hey, how's it going? I'm just doing my live stream. Hello, Scout. Hey, hi. Oh, let's zoom out. Let's see our puppies visiting. Hey, are you going to draw with us? I guess not. I emptied out the thing into the bucket. Okay. I put the bucket lid on tight. Just be careful if you pour. Okay. I'm worried it will dump out. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know you were. Yeah, no worries, man. Mi casa, su casa. I didn't know you were still here.
I'm doing some stuff.
Personal creative stuff?
No. Troubleshooting and procedural stuff.
For the live stream?
Yeah.
I'm doing a live stream right now. Your setup is way cooler. Yeah, so this is using OBS, but that picture is right beside, and these are all the people watching and commenting. It's pretty cool, man. I don't think I'll ever reopen. Just kidding, just kidding. We're kind of talking about when we're gonna do this in real life again. Anyways, look how pretty my drawing of my model is. Let's now go through and put the shadow lines in. And then we'll take a break because I'm sure you guys need one. That was my, oh, hey Scout. That was my coworker, Brendan. He's awesome. He's working late tonight, I guess. And the puppy dog is just sitting here being so sweet. Scout, you're not allowed liquor. You're not allowed liquor, Scout. Do you want to make an appearance? No? Oh, she'll be famous. Cheers. Cheers. Actually, this one is like 22 bucks a bottle. So, Uncommon Cider, in September, they ask people for all their crab apples in their yard. And then they make the cider. So we don't really have orchards. I grew up on an orchard on Vancouver Island. I appreciate the cider. What? That looks pretty good, right, guys? Mine's like a little bit bigger based off the zoom in, but you can see she's coming there. She does look cute. I hope she likes it. Normally, when we have a new model and they sit, I give them the drawing. So maybe if she comes and sits for us again, or in real life, if she's interested in that, she'll get one of these. I'm so glad to see Keith showed up. Okay, back to the birds. I'm getting good at talking about nothing. I could be a politician, it seems. Oh, man. Okay. Let's draw some shadow shapes. So, in this case, I'm gonna take out one of my favorites, the Pierre Noir. Now, I don't know what I'm doing with this. I don't know if I'm going to pan pastel this or whatever, but this is nice and black and less removable than charcoal. So we'll just go down now and just, what do they call it? Window shading. Work down the image and draw what we see. Like there's a nice one on the leg here. So if you're following along, let me just move forward. It actually looks like something now. It's a wonder. The last hour and a half I was worried that I had majorly let you guys down. But I think putting her face there really helped. Okay, cast shadows describe the form they're falling on. And I'm going to use the pencil in different ways based off its point like a brush. And so cast shadows are a little bit firmer So I use not the tip, but just below the tip on the side. And we gotta accentuate this stuff so that and I just tone it in. So I think I am gonna make my shadows black in this case, for clarity. For clarity. It does look like a graphic novel, doesn't it? A little manga-ish. But it won't when I'm done. I'm also not going for like, this paper, by the way, is very pitted. I have a bunch of pads of gray and tan tone for 25 bucks. If you want to buy them off me, it means you can come visit the studio and you'll actually save money than if you go to the art store that I got them from. Shh. It's because I bought in bulk and they're still around. I spent thousands of dollars on paper and for classes, and then classes dried up. So we can frame her face with shadow shapes. Man, that sounded good. Frame her face with shadow shapes. So squint your eyes and find those shapes. I was thinking, like, I have pencil crayons, but not like super good quality ones. Just Prismacolor and the ones I use in the kids' classes. There's a shadow on her trap and going across her trap. So even though I've drawn it as a shape, I'm kind of eradicating it. There's this lovely, I made her shoulders too wide, but I'm gonna keep it. She's a tough girl, I can tell. Maybe a little bit in. You know, that's where graphite is nicer. But that's what it is. I'll have to hide it somehow. Learn as you go. And none of these things are precious. I mean, this is just a daily practice. Maybe not daily. We're only doing it together once a week, but you get the idea. In order to accentuate the light side from the backlight, I'm going to draw a thin core shadow along the side of her face. And this edge, by the way, is soft. Down the cheek. Because when I put the white in there, having this dark line will act as an optical illusion because of the high contrast nature of it. She's backlit for the most part, but there's also front light. You can see her cheeks are highlighted. This is a more difficult type of lighting, multiple sources of light or soft light. That's kind of, I believe, the most beautiful light when I think about it. I mean, I was a kid in the 90s, but I'm like, Noxzema girls get noticed. You know, like it's that soft light that flattens everything out. And we, drawing, we want to make things look less flat. So it's more hard to make a soft, front lit subject matter look good because you lose the depth. So that's why we tend to have just one source of light here in the drawing sessions. Plus the room is just flooding it with the inner light of all the beautiful people who come here, but also the overhead lights so that you can see your artwork. I'll leave a very bright highlight. Don't color that in. There we go, for the eye. Little shadow up. And my God, I mean, seriously, these are the most perfect eyebrows I've ever seen in my life. And thus, a challenge for the artist to draw. C'est bon? En français? It's good. Okay. And you see that highlight on her nose. I need to draw that in. Now, if you look, that highlight is actually very square. People, even though, like, I'd say never draw a round circle for the nose because it looks like Ronald McDonald or something. The highlight on the nose tends to be very square on the side of the nose. You can take a class and understand why another time. Look at that. I'm plugging the school like a pro here. Anyways, It doesn't have to be here even. But there is a piece beside the alar cartilage. Okay, so there's a dark shadow beside that nostril, and that's what makes the nose pop forward. Anytime you have something that's bootlegging drawing paper, I wish I was bootlegging it, and then I could sell you guys it cheaper. I'm just holding on to what I thought was an investment for way too long. I'm just hemorrhaging money right now. It's a great feeling. But being an artist, I'm trained for it. So, c'est la vie. Beautiful model here. I'm very excited to be drawing here. I'm just going to add a little bit of tone down the side, so it's not just a line, but it kind of gives it a little roundness. I don't know how far this thing's going to get, so. Bella, bella. If you have really cheap things from the dollar store, cotton swabs, it's really nice with this paper. I'll just show you the effect to soften things out. It works too on your smooth newsprint. Please use smooth newsprint. See the difference there? You can also get the fancy, I wonder if I should zoom in here. You can also get the fancy pan pastel blenders. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful when you soften it like that. And they're inexpensive. Let me just zoom in. Where are you? There we go. You see that? It's not so bad, right? Okay, well, while I'm zoomed in, I'm going to keep working this area for you. And if you look at my timer, we're not following this. We're just going. I'm moving slow. Moving slow today. It's so hot in here. Brandon, who just stopped in, his t-shirt has armpit stains. And I remember when I was young, there was this hypercolor. Some of you will know what I'm talking about. And hypercolor, it was just like, let's make a color change shirt. And I mean, everyone had them in my school and stuff. This was what, I think I was in elementary, it might have been junior high when hypercolor was cool. But it was like you bought a purple shirt and when you sweated, it was yellow. And I mean, they made hypercolor jogging pants. It was so dumb. Like, just imagine hypercolor yoga pants. Actually, don't. I don't want to get shut down on this channel. I don't know, I still want them though, but it's such a stupid idea. Because, of course, it's going to show all your sweat. Only, pretty much. Should have made like school jerseys. That way you could see what kids were actually working hard. Okay. Get the nice eyebrow. There is some tone. So, just to show the roundness, I'll just put a little bit on there. Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the color in this session. Draw the hair. And there's a shadow. Are we having fun yet? Do you guys remember the hypercolor? So clever. Oh, my pencil just broke. Just the tip. Soften it out, just with a little bit of this. So the middle local color or skin tone is the paper currently. So just, if you don't have tone paper, you actually have to add tone, right? Just remember your values. Values, okay, here's the hierarchy. I mean, I'm just giving this stuff away. Shape, value, edges, color. That's how I teach it. Some may disagree. Shape is made up of a lot of things. Shape is made up of proportion, perspective, gesture, right? What type of shape, what angles you have. I mean, I just say shape and it sounds like, I got this. That's easy, right? It's not easy. And if it was so easy, we wouldn't all be here doing this right now. It'd just be like, I don't need to do that. I got this. I love that people see artists like magicians sometimes. Like, just it amazes me when people are amazed, because what we do seems so simple to us. Although I will argue that it's not talent. That drives me bonkers. All the money I spent in school and traveling, all the time I've spent, to just call it talent, it's my pet peeve. The patella. She's gonna get a little highlight there too. Just on the tip of her nose. That's gonna make a big difference actually in rounding it out. Sorry, I said patella, I meant philtrum. Philtrum under the nose. It looks like a teardrop shape. Draw. I'm gonna move her lips down slightly. This is beautiful highlight on the left one there. I'm gonna plug Jeff, guys. This is a beautiful photo. He's a great photographer, and we're very lucky that he's sharing some image. I can't afford to photograph a bunch of models, nor do I have his skill. So, you know, hopefully we can get some more out of this guy, right? Just suck up to him right now on the chat, please, so that we can get some more. You can also visit, I linked his Instagram. I guess, Jeff, you don't have a website for this stuff, which means that we can just steal it, as far as I know. That's your bad. Oh my God. Okay, and then the little piercing, which is slightly above the side of the mouth. And here, on this side, it looks dark. On this side, it looks light. I love these things. I had a couple friends, tattoo friends and piercers, and when you take out those piercings, you like always have dimples. So if your dream was to have dimples, you just have to go through a little bit of cheek paint. All right, good, nice point on this pencil. This kind of thing's happening right now. Let's see where we're at. It's looking good, right? Her nostril looks a little wide. We want to cut that in. Now, also, there we go. That is an area that can grow. I find, for me, I do verticals great, but I have a hard time pulling in my horizontals. So I'm just trying to figure out ways to mitigate that. If you guys are followers of this, you'll see it a lot. That's why I had problems with legs for a long time, making them too. Now I have no problems, right? Once you learn something and you integrate it, and you got to practice a lot. I mean, anything worth doing is hard, and you have to learn it. You know, you don't just pick up a. If you just picked up a guitar and were so good at it, you'd be like, yeah, forget this. I've had guitars and a bunch of instruments my whole life, and I'm just not good. But that's because I'm sitting here drawing every day. If it comes to me losing my mind, my mom already thinks I'm having a midlife crisis, what with the chest tattoos. I can't afford a cool car, so this is what's happening. Chest tattoos and firearms. No, the pink hair, which is what I had all throughout high school. So that's nothing new for me, actually. From the age of like 15 to 22. No, even in art school I had pink hair. Who am I kidding? It's my favorite color. That's what we're doing here. Soften that a little bit. Soften this a little bit. We don't, you know, it's better not to have that many hard edges. The glabella tends to be a little bit in shadow too, but let's not make it look like hair. I'm going to darken it, and then I'm going to lift it out. Now I have this pencil that actually isn't a pencil. Where is it? I got it in Japan. I got a whole box. I can bootleg these and just erase out a little bit. Oh, Sketch Eraser by Naomi. I apologize for destroying your culture and language, Japan. Okay. Her nose is a little bit red, and this is where I'd like to like add a bit of color, but we can even show some curvature. Maybe a little bit of the cheek on the other side of the maxilla. You guys seeing this? Is this working out? We're having fun yet. I am mentoring an artist for the next year. I'm part of a group of people who mentor newcomers to Canada. And she, Joey, or Wan Yi, is a children's book illustrator. And I'm hoping to get her trying some of this real stuff. But I know she's been watching my videos. Hopefully she's out there watching today. That would be great. We got to spend a whole year bringing her into the arts culture in Calgary. I can imagine it must be very difficult finding your way. I mean, I'm still like, how do I get to do this for a living? You know what I mean? Okay, there's her beautiful face for now. Maybe put some hair. We'll see how big we and we wanna tilt down. Okay, so I'm gonna tilt the camera here in a second, or zoom out a little bit. Whoop, woo. Does that work? Okay, let's move down. I'll try to chase along so that we're more zoomed in, because there are, like, if I'm too far out, you don't see those minutia of turns. It's 8. Got an hour. I'm gonna try to get down this whole thing. Etsy bats, wash your hands, wipe them. If you're working in charcoal, get them clean. Like, look at that. I'm just gonna drag that over my paper. The other thing that I like to do is cut my paper towel into squares, so quarter pieces, and those will act as a bridge. You get dirty doing this. It's part of the thing. I mean, you could wear gloves. That would feel weird. And I put all those extra shading lines in, but we'll use them to describe the darkest lights. Yeah, her arm is too far out. Anyways, I gotta commit to it. Committed now. So I'm still using my Pierre Noir. I'm gonna use my crutch or my bridge, whatever. There's this beautiful light, this backlight that Jeff's captured. So if you look, one edge is hard. The edge towards the light is hard, and then towards the body, it softens up. So I'm just gonna pull it that way. And I'll use the very soft along this form, traveling down the deltoid, and then down the side of the arm, all the way to that fold. Now, I might leave these turning of the form. I don't know. I'm gonna see if it'll come out first. Now that was charcoal, as you recall. So they are removable. Oh, now you're seeing my hair. Fantastic. I have to drink this to cool off. But also it means I have to stay at the studio an extra hour or two. I'm doing a side project designing a wheelbarrow for a friend who owns an organic. It was better when it was cold. So let's get back up to the neck here. You can see that if you can find that shadow of the neck pit, that the sternocleidomastoid goes across the chin. Let's show it because there's a slight shadow underneath. Now, one thing that I find important is I like to shade in or give a value to the neck. And the reason for me to do this, even if your eyes don't perceive it, is that the face will move forward. Bright moves forward, dark sets back, and we want the face to look like it's coming towards us. So there you go, trick of the trade. If you squint your eyes, you might not see that value, but nothing here should be as light as the face, I don't think. And that really helps sell that illusion that the face is forward from the neck. All of this, just drop it back. Just put a little value on it. Keith, Jeff, chime in. What do you think? This is my technique, but I always have it one value less than the lowest part on the face. See, that's how I can tell you guys aren't actually listening. Okay, so we follow down. Now, there's that shape. The B rest is, that's my Pig Latin to save me from getting into YouTube trouble here. She's backlit, so I need to put some value along that core shadow. It's okay if it lessens up. It helps to show the roundness of the form. Below the arm at the bicep, there's a cast shadow, nice and dark. So I'm using more of the tip of the pencil. I tend to ignore tattoos on the models because as soon as you draw anything drawn or linear, it flattens out. Now, a lot of people complain to me that all the models have tattoos. Up until this year, I didn't ever have a tattoo. But now I think they're so cool. So, F you. We're going to have models with tattoos. You can get over it. That's their choice. And I like them. But I don't like to draw them. So that's the downside. Sometimes they can give away how the form is turning as well, which is nice. So I'm just rubbing material in. If I was using pan pastels, this would go really quick. And then I'll darken the edge again. Our cast, soft and hard. Soft and hard. Just remember what your edge control is, because that makes that already look brighter. If I don't get the chance to put the white in, which I will, because it's going to look so cool. Well, it could be a time thing. Man, it's already 8. Okay, going faster. But look where we are, right? We can leave the feet. Sometimes yes, but it's always nice to deliberately push the face away and draw attention to the body. There you go. Whoop, whoop. Jeffrey Clepus, he knows. Thanks for listening, buddy. I appreciate it. I look forward if you do post on social media again. I took the last month off social media and I got back on it since Monday. Not interested. It's so political. Like, Instagram, which was so cool, is like sales and I'm gonna start putting the white in now, actually. It's like sales and just crap I don't need, political crap. I'm gonna put the white in now, guys, as I go down, because I don't think I'm gonna have time to touch up here. So that I'm not explaining it and it's being like, well, just imagine. I'm actually gonna put it in. I don't know what this is. This is General's white charcoal, which, by the way, is not real. There's no such thing as white charcoal. So they tend to be chalk, maybe in some type of oil, inside of the inside near her eye, the dot in the eye. You have to erase out before you put your white on. That beautiful highlight on the side of her nose, grind it. The dot to show the roundness, that's more of a reflected light kind of idea. A little bit along the ridge. Now, I tell people not to draw that in, usually, but our mouth has kind of like a ski slope. I don't know if you guys can see this from your view. And then down the jawline. Let's get some hair highlights in. They're really highlight on that one side, to the point where her hair on either side is light. Where do you touch her face? What? I don't think I understand what you mean. Where do I touch her face? With the highlight? Etsy Bats, help me out here. Where do I touch it? Ah! Okay, I'll zoom in maybe. Anywhere that there's that bluish highlight, I'm putting in a little bit of white. If it's a joke, I'm missing it just because I'm reading it. You know, these things don't translate that well. Now that's pretty, right? That looks good. A little highlight inside the nose. A little one on the outside of her eye. A little one. And I'm wiggling it back and forth along her cheek. You don't want these to be straight lines. It doesn't look real. And it's a cheap move, but I'm going to draw beneath, as if there's a shadow beneath the piercing, because it tends to make it look more round. That's actually one of my tricks on the nose shadow, or the highlight, is you put like a shadow underneath it, and it looks like it pops more forward. And now this side. Wait, there's a little bit on the collarbone here. The collarbone meets up in two places, and we want to highlight the rim light, because we're not doing a dark background, along the side of the figure. You know what? I feel actually like a little bit bad for people who don't know that this live stream is here, because this is a little bit more descriptive than all of our classes. But you don't want to come to a class and not draw and just watch a guy draw for 2.5 hours. I'm going to leave those shapes in there, I think. And then just soften it with my finger. This stuff is kind of greasy. I really like what Holbein has to offer. If you're looking for whites, I've bought every single one. I haven't done the YouTube episode for it yet. I've just been too busy to make just free YouTube videos, unfortunately. Let's do the hip. Because I'm right-handed, I tend to go from the left side over so that I'm not dragging through it. That's also why I like right side light. But if you're left-handed, just plan your angle of attack the opposite way. So the whole hip around doesn't get the light. It's actually, if you squint your eyes, it's kind of like a shark fin shape going towards and around. There's a big muscle right there. So, and we don't go all the way to the top because of the rounding of the form. And this doesn't actually need to be white. Just overdoing it. Ooh, I hope she does. I hope she does. Mysterious shadow. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see here. So I'm kind of, it's not up and down, I'm kind of going at this diagonal. So one of the most favorite parts in art school when you're 19, where'd that pencil go? Guys, I think this, I'm gonna darken the hair here. So I'm back to my Pierre Noir. You can use black charcoal. Her hair is a beautiful dark burgundy, but for the purpose of this drawing, I can always put a color on top with pan pastel, but I want to get the value as close to correct as I can at this initial stage. So I'm just going to darken it. And I'm pressing fairly hard because my paper is not forgiving, and it's got lots of little dots and bumps in it. And I don't want to have to go over it again and again for the purpose of this. There is this beautiful little blonde piece right here. So we'll draw it in and darken the rest. And remember, you're not drawing exactly what you see. You're designing shapes. Beautiful shapes. Our first thing, once again, being shapes. Those are the most important things. Proportion, perspective, all of that is shape. In fact, I'll just do a light touch there. Maybe you can hear this ASMR now. Her body's turning away, so I'm gonna pull my shadow this direction, across the contour. Now, actually, when I say shadow, I don't mean shadow. That's the darkest light, and you see it's a tan color. And we can do that same thing with the core shadow across the achromium process and the shoulder, because we'll put the white in there. But because it's further away, we need to have some value, and this value is darker than the chest area. Is that blocked on YouTube yet? Saying chest? Maybe I'm not allowed. I don't know. I don't know. I'll be disappointed later. That's probably enough. There's that highlight across the shoulder girdle along the back. My white chalk, there it is. Chalk is fine too, except that if you use chalk and then you spray fix-it of this thing, it will disappear. Chalk is actually clear. Chalk is used as a carrier for many colors, especially new colors. Maybe I'll go a little down the arm too, like a Drew Struzan. Poltergeist. Okay, zooming out a little bit. Zoom out a little bit. That's my impression of my nephew. But he's only 7, so. Oh, cheers. I've had plenty of disappointment, Etsy Bats. There's nothing wrong with it. I just wish it would stop. All right, let's soften this up a little bit. 811, we're doing fine. Maybe we will get a little color on here. I did over here, and I'm gonna get a different Q-tip just to soften my darks again. I know how much time I have, and I know I'm not gonna bring this to the full finish I want to. I do have other things I need to do tonight, but I could probably stay on till 10 or 11 drawing this. But that's not the promise of the live stream, unfortunately. So let's give the illusion of shape along the thing that I cannot mention on YouTube. So there's kind of like a V shape. So I'm just going to add some value, some darker value, and blend it. So it's darker. If it's darker value than whatever paper you have, nice and tan, we'll just blend it. Also, softening by blending sends something further back, which is nice. So underneath said fatty area of a female's body, we want to have darker value. All of this is darker. If you squint your eyes, you'll see what I mean. Nothing here is light, so it needs value on it. Also, like the neck, popping it forward. We can't even see the shadow that it could be casting, really. So, but not just underneath it. What about along the form? So I like to draw it as if I am experiencing the shape with my eyes, just around it, and the little bits of lines that your pencil leaves guides the eyes. It also guides the direction that you should be pulling your softening. There's a little bit of lightness catching right here. So how do I show that? Well, I gotta put dark beside it. I just use a Q-tip. All right, That looks nice. Let's moving down. The thoracic arch. Not in light, so it needs some tone. I'm just going to leave it like lines. And then brush against those lines. You see? So I still maintain the shape of the lines. If you go with the lines, you actually tend to blur the lines out. The opposite of what you would think would happen. Because it just softens them out. All right. Oh, look here. We've got a ring that's capturing light. So we want to put white on that. I'm not going to draw the hands. It's too much work. Why bother when I can just draw the shadow shapes on the hands? Give the impression that I worked really hard. Don't tell. I keep losing that white. Oh yeah, that's because it's not a pencil. Okay. It's metal reflecting. I'm going to leave. Well, there's a little bit of hand light actually. I was gonna just leave the paper, but I think I'll just lighten it a little bit more. Bring that backlight across the hand. Draw some shapes to represent the reflection on the nails. Whatever. Keep it simple. KISS rule. But I will put a little shadow at the bone and a little core along the arm. I kept the loop there, but it also gets really dark underneath the arm because that's a cast shadow. Feels really silent right now. Gravity is playing her role. I'm not sure how so, but she looks good. What about the shadow here on this leg? Well, the form turns across. Actually, I gotta erase this a little bit. The form turns here. So let's do the core, which is the pinching. And then it turns into a cast. So I'll use the tip of the pencil. And it goes down and it softens out. And there's also a cast shadow underneath the leg as it meets the gluteus maximus. So we'll put some tone there. Put some tone there. Always make your cat. It sucks saying definitive things like always in art, because I can always think of a reason not to do it. Okay, back to my Pierre Noir Conte 1710, just because it's a little bit darker. Now, I'm not going to fold that up. I'm just going to push it down. Wee-hoo! And I really have to rub it because this paper, once again, is porous. Actually, maybe I can pull a little bit up. Maybe I can. Sometimes it's nicer to use charcoal for this job. It's a little bit more forgiving. It's more dusty. It doesn't have clay mixed into it. There we go. And that could be much darker. We got to push our values when we're drawing. We can't control the lightness of our white or our paper. It doesn't get as bright as light does. It's starting to get dark in the studio. I'm looking outside right now. Actually, while I'm doing this, I'm actually looking outside. It's a beautiful, stormy looking night. For sure. Okay. Moving down. We've got this back arm. This back arm has a fairly firm edge crossing into the, almost to the knuckle. I'm actually going to get this part of my hand tattooed next. Cast shadow. And then darken the value. Does it seem robotic at this point? This is where the professionalism comes along, where you just have to tackle it. Soften. White along the edge. Chalk it up. I'm not gonna do much for this hand. I like how it looks. Just maybe I'll wiggle a little value onto it. It just like looks so sculptural. And I think I'll just leave it like that. I could change my mind. Can add some whites to it later. I don't know. I think it looks. Oh, she's got a ring on this one too. Okay. I always like including that jewelry because I can draw curvature to represent the finger, and it like it's ghosted, but it totally looks good. And then how about let's just put a cast shadow underneath these so she's not floating in space. Just shape design at this point. I'm gonna go for the whole thing. I'm actually sharpening my pencil right now, believe it or not. I like to get sneaky sometimes and do that. I used to have a student who sharpened my pencils for me. Bless her soul. Denise, I miss you. She went to Toronto to study medical illustration, and I believe graduated with honors. She was very good at what she did. But this Atelier was the only place in town, and there wasn't enough people to take the classes she wanted to take. Like all the classical drawing and stuff. Okay, we're moving down the leg now. Got to get rid of these shapes that were used to illustrate the roundness of the form. They're disruptive. It's so quiet in here. Let's put the shine of the shin with the white. Even though it's not quite. It's white, and then I have to get a clean Q-tip and soften the outer edge. I don't want it to be a hard stripe. Because although the shin is sharp and angular, the reflection is not. That will flatten it out. And some along the side again. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're good. We might even get this done early. We can do a little critique at that point. I have that Ween song stuck in my head. Bananas and blow. It's very tropical. Bananas and blow. We'll leave the foot like that. We just gotta edge this white now with the core or terminator line. And along the other side of the white too. So we'll just soften that. Q-tip's a little bit of a small jobber for this. A little small. So I'm gonna use this thing. You guys ever seen one of these? They're like makeup sponges. It's a quickie way of, I like it a lot, but just for big flat areas. And it holds a lot of material in it, so this whole side is going to be dark too. You can see it goes over the line. Getting close. Let's do this side of the pressed up Gasperox synemius, the calf. I figure if I say these things enough, you'll start saying them in your head anyways. Soften it up. That's supposed to be white up there. I bet, I can't see for sure, but I bet any money there's a little light being caught here and on the side. There we go. Just on the side. Because it's coming from the back and these things are overlapping and hanging out. No pun intended, guys. I know you think some things are silly on here, but I'll go dark beside it because that helps it pop. Not literally. Oh God, the dad jokes. My children, if ever I have them, will hate me. But I'll think I'm clever. Okay. Moving down. Getting close. She's on white. So I am just gonna block in just a little bit. But not like, I'm not gonna try too hard here. This expands out. It's always nice to not have a figure just floating there, unless it's like for medical text or something. Draw that in. Okay. Cheers. Oh man, this one is really tart. It's a 2017 vintage. All right, lower leg. Zoom out a little bit more. Are we still paying attention? Half an hour left. Dig deep, dig deep. This is no sweat. I've kind of run down the last pencil and I need a sharp point to describe these shadows. So I'm using a Hercules holder. Maybe one day I'll get some sponsorship here and we can like use it to our advantage to get some cheap stuff. I have too many art materials anyways. There's a shadow being cast along the top side of the foot underneath the calf. So actually there's no drawn line on the edge of the calf. It's going to be white and light, but there is a cast shadow from it. Let's break it down. Just shapes. It's quite a lot of white. Also, next Wednesday, I may not get back in time to do the live stream. I'm going to be gone to Grasslands, Saskatchewan for work. Hopefully I'll get back in time. I think it's 8 hours away. It's by Montana and Winnipeg. There better be bison roaming around there. And I'm staying in this hotel that looks terrifying. I'm definitely going to be wearing a ball cap so they don't see my pink hair. Because I don't think that's the kind of place you want to be too weird. Oh, there's a highlight on the inside of the leg here. Oh, that's nice. It's soft, so we gotta use our Q-tip again. And a little bit along the side, not the whole front. This is an extra of the tibial tuberosity and the front tibia. The heel is in light, so I've made a lost edge here. Because why not? Toe, foot. It kind of blends. We're doing okay. I'm not slowing down though. Don't slow down. Don't give up yet. You think when you pay 21 bucks to come here, you want to get every minute out of that model, minus the socializing time, of course. All right, front of the knee. This whole side can have value on it. We'll refine the shape a little bit. The malleolus, I don't know if you guys can see this. Front of the foot. Oh man, we got time. Maybe I can get a little pink in there. That represents the folding of the toes. This represents the shadow under the big toe. And then I like to draw the shapes in between. Not the toes themselves. What shadow shapes are present? What about the fact that there's like a cast shadow under? That helps raise that leg up. Kind of have to invent it a little bit. Right here, there's a lost edge. So bring those 2 points together. Why not? Yes, $21 is too cheap. However, that's all. I don't want to raise the price, man. Figure drawing here is more of a community thing than a money maker. I got to pay the model. That's the most important thing to me. If I wanted to make money at figure drawing, it would be like 45 bucks each if you wanted to pay for the rent in Martloop. But that's not the goal. I'm still open. I'm still going to be doing fine here, guys. Bananas and blow. Ooh, bananas and blow. Okay, we'll edge this like white area here. Across the leg, because it's like the shadow kind of comes around some more, you know? Helps describe the shape of the leg. Good. I probably should, I have a sharp edge here on the knee. Bring it down. There we go. It's an illusion. And soften. Really what I'm trying to do is rub material into all the little holes of the paper that are not, that it's skipping over. Actually, the big smudger is going to be much better for this job. Where'd you go? Makeup sponge. A lot of my materials I get from Dollarama. So walk down those aisles. Dollarama is great. We don't have to buy stuff at art stores per se. I wouldn't buy the art materials from Dollarama, mind you. They're pretty low quality. I mean, if you're gonna wreck a brush, I'd rather you not spend any money on it. Let's darken this upper calf a little bit more too. I don't know how this is looking to you guys. Kind of like the end procedure. Sorry, my head's getting in the way. Definitely that shin highlight is too bright. Thought it was going to work, but it should only be the tan tone paper. Just draw a little heel out here. Those toes coming together, like just a unified shape. I think the viewer knows what's going on with that, so I might leave that. Maybe we'll darken this a little bit. Pull across contour. If we want this to look more underneath the model, going around, it needs to be darker. Like a cave, dark things go away from you. You know? So of course if I set a rule like, well, always dark things go away, that would be silly, because if you were wearing a black glove and went to punch someone's face, or actually dark things like my hair are close to you. But, you know, in terms of creating this illusion, this is the rendering part, right? Okay. There's a little shadow from the finger here. We can intensify that. And beneath the hand, right? Maybe I turn the form here a little bit too. Cross the contour. So it's okay to like draw C shapes. I don't think there'll be time for color. It's only 8:38, but I need to see a man about a horse. So, just lighten this here, lighten this side here. That's white back there. Let's do it. Okay. Allow me to visit the man about the horse. I'll give you guys a little 7-minute, you can take a break now. A little 7-minute break, and then we'll come back to it. Maybe do a few more things after I have a look. Like that shin is gonna drive me crazy, so I have to erase it. Let's try a different one. How about the stars? My beautiful creatives. I washed my hands, I did my thing, I changed the camera angle, and I just heard, like I'm looking out the window right now, and there's a massive dark cloud, and it's beautiful navy blue on the top, and then like peach underneath where the light is emanating, and then I can see the city. I'd stop and take a picture, but here's what happened. I started drawing when you guys weren't even here, which is my bad, and I apologize. I changed the camera angle with it. I could not live with the highlight on the leg, so I erased it first. I mean, honestly, if you squint your eyes, it's in shadow. I'm gonna slightly erase out though to create that slight shin highlight. And to me, the shin, because they come up on the hard angle, and like even on men with hairy legs, there's always a shine there. It's not that it's like greasy or something, but I was just way out to lunch on that. That is dark, and it's further from the light, which is behind her. So I went in and I did some of this. And then I was like, oh wait, I gotta wait for this stupid countdown so I can do it proper so people can see what's going on. Anyways, I couldn't live with it. But backing up helped. And because we want that high contrast, I want to bring the dark towards the white. And you never mix your light and your dark. You just don't. That's a rule. You can break it, and guess what you're going to make, especially in paint? Mud. Don't F this up, guys. So I'm going to use my Dollarama face sponge. You know, I was at my friend Paula. Hey, thanks for texting me, Paula. I know you're there. I realize you can't write on the chat, but thanks for texting my phone. A few of you guys actually have texted my phone. It's a funny way of getting to me. I can't even read the chat while I'm drawing. I need a moderator. That's what other people are doing, I've noticed. Okay, so let's see if we can fix this leg up. There's not much time left, so there's going to be a storm, I guess, in Calgary. It's nice to know. I'm going to be here working on this wheelbarrow tonight. And me and my buddy Cosmic, he owns an organic farm that he made on a friend's property. So I bought him a wheelbarrow. I'm trying to surprise him. He doesn't watch this, so he's a musician, not an artist. So he won't know what we're talking about. Yeah, I bought him this wheelbarrow, and I'm painting like a moon and a sun on it. It's going to be the coolest wheelbarrow of all the wheelbarrows that ever was, a wheelbarrow. And he's going to be very surprised on Sunday when I give it to him. I'm going to put his company name on there. I think it'll be a nice gift for a friend. Okay, so eraser pencil. I'm going to use a crisscross angle just to give it some more interest and texture. So that's like the shin light, kind of. Actually, I should have gone the other way. There we go. Go the other way now. I don't know. It's an effect. Sure, an effect. I don't know if I know how to do this right, you know? I'm just making it up as I go. All right. Maybe a little more structure and angle to the malleolus, the ankle, sorry. I don't know why I have the habit of, I'm not trying to be stodgy or anything. I think it's because I heard Luke say it so many times. You know, it kind of gets programmed in your mind. Ankle and shin is much better. Quite frankly, this is better. Okay. I think we're getting close to a little critique, guys. I mean, creatives. So woke. So woke these days. I got asked to do all these advertisements for like Black Lives Matter and stuff, and I'm just like, what the hell does that mean? You want me to put the Jamaican flag on everything? Like, it's very confusing these days as a creative person what you're supposed to be doing. But more and more I'm thinking about going back to my roots. You know, the great artists, they kind of knew where they stood in terms of the meanings of things. In fact, some of them were probably told what to do by their churches and whatnot. We stand at an impasse here. Seems like the culture today is having a major identity crisis. It's a hard thing. I heard Matthew McConaughey say that the United States was in puberty. Interesting idea. I actually bought his book on Audible, and he's an actor, so it was highly entertaining. And I just love his southern drawl. I'm going to propose right now on this live stream that Matthew McConaughey is going to run for office. Lots of actors seem to do that in the United States. I bet you this is his trick. Writes a book, has some sort of authority. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronald Reagan, Jesse Ventura. Lots of politicians have been entertainment industry people, right? That's my guess. We can look back on this in many years to come and say, you were right. That's weird. All right, smooth this out. I mean, we're almost out of time, so what can we do with the drunken sailor? What can you do with a drunken sailor? Turn into cooks and into bailers. What can you do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. We didn't do much with the hair. Oh well. You know, I might sit here and throw some color down. I think it'd be nice in the hair. We want to make the model happy, so she comes back. Do a little upper lip. Maybe even a little smile line here. What can you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? When I was young, I was really into activism because I knew I couldn't be arrested till I was like 18. And I was part of, on Vancouver Island, the Nanoose conversion campaign. There was a U.S. military base in Nanoose, BC, and they were practicing how they would fire off their missiles and nukes into our waters. Look it up, it's real. And I designed all these posters, and the military police came to my house looking for me. Although I will say that those posters were pretty incriminating. It had all these like sailors dying. Anyways, there's this group called the Raging Grannies, which we were friends with. Lovely old ladies. They would do tea and biscuits, and they, you know, stood up for what they believed in. They're still active, obviously, but such a different thing back then, where it wasn't the same kind of political nature of standing up for what you thought was right. I was mostly afraid of being forced to go into the military at that age. I wouldn't have survived. Although both parents of mine, like, and my Uncle Paul, they retired from the military, serving in Germany and Afghanistan. Hard life, though. Now, at this age, I'd have to just go straight to being a general. General nuisance. At least with these skills I'm building, if I ever have to go to prison, I'll be able to tattoo. Okay. We got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to sign this bad boy. Where should I sign it? Do a little cleanup. And move on to my wheelbarrow. I'll tilt it. I don't think I need to do like, you know, the picture-in-picture thing unless you guys really want to see my face. Let's do it. Oh, that's... Hey! Oh, what's going on here? Sorry. I'm trying to move something out of the way. Alright, let's do it. Oh good, you guys are seeing this. I don't know why I have this weird preview. Gee, money! Yes, you'll be the most popular... the most popular prison artist! Hot damn! There's something to look forward to. This is what I've been working on my whole life, gee! Okay. Oh, that's not high hopes, buddy. I got too cute a hiney, my friend. I better start eating. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out so we can have a little fun here. Ayo, tilt it up. Here we go. Bonnie's shooting the whole studio. Man. Alright, there's our lovely model. There he is. And I don't know if it's focused. I think my eyesight's going. Ugh. And here's our lovely drawing. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to wear the hat at the end. We had a plan here. It slowly degraded with time. Had the pan pastels. That didn't happen. But I made a nice stylized drawing. Kind of like, you guys, if you know Drew Struzan, he does that nice like white highlight. This is the first page. Nice. So many. I'm sorry, I can't look at them right now though. Alright, let's do this. It's not exactly the same position or height. Let me stand up and have a look myself. It's probably a good idea to see what I've been working on. And level up the camera. Oh, it wasn't focused. Okay, here's what we got today. Okay, there's a few things. Let me just, this will drive me crazy. I gotta shade her cheek a little bit more. You know, they tend to be redder anyways. But that highlight looks a little silly. Alright. That's it. The night is young still, and I hope you enjoyed the ramblings of a madman. Yeah. There's our drawing. See much more focus on the foot. This is a fun way to do it. And I'm pretty happy with it. You gotta imagine what's going on here. Please join again. Hopefully I'll be back next week. It's my goal. Oh, wait, I can go in the picture now. With the stick. I still have half a liter of cider I might just not drink. Let's have a little sip. Thanks for joining me and the birds. I hope you drew along and made something. If you do, like, subscribe. There is some serious lightning out the window right now that looks really cool. By the end of this month, the studio will be open again unless some crazy conspiracy happens, which wouldn't surprise me. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Help the YouTube algorithm. That's it for me tonight. I'm going to work for a few more hours, but I mean live to you. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it all. In fact, I put the hat on so I could do my fade out. Here it comes. And stay dry if you're in Calgary, because it looks like Right now we're in Mart Loop, and it's going to move over the rest of you pretty harshly. All right, ciao for now.